Hey everybody, Cliff Yates, comedy cop, corrects Jerry Seinfeld. I hate to do it, Jerry, because I love Jerry Seinfeld, and I'll tell you why in a second, but let's get right to the point. This is what Jerry said.
On the
Marcus Aurelius is my new one.
How so?
The Roman emperor who wrote a book called Meditations,
Okay.
which was the beginning of Stoicism. And that's my obsession now, is Marcus Aurelius.
And now, Jerry, this is just a correction, okay? I've studied Stoicism for many, many years. As a matter of fact, I'm glad you were obsessed with Meditations because it is a great book written by Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome. Here's one copy I have of Meditations. Here's another copy I have of Meditations. And it was really a journal he was writing to himself, on the battlefield. It wasn't meant for publication. And he was himself studying the works of Epictetus, one of the early teachers of Stoicism. But you can see the start of Stoicism was 300 before the Common Era by Zeno of Citium. And the end of what I am trying to point out here is that when Marcus Aurelius wrote Meditations, it was 180 Common Era, about 500 plus some years after the start of Stoicism. So Marcus Aurelius studied Stoicism. He loved it. He loved philosophy, the love of wisdom, and he particularly loved the teachings of Epictetus, who was a freed slave. But Marcus Aurelius did not start Stoicism. Zeno, who was a merchant who traded goods, particularly the purple dye that was used for the robes of emperors, and his ship sunk. And he ended up on the shores in Greece, and he ended up in a bookshop, and he wanted to have a book on philosophy. And they gave him one of these early books, and he became obsessed with philosophy, and he started Stoicism. And the Stoa Pocali, I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it really means painted porch, because that's where they would all gather together to discuss life philosophies, how to handle life, strategies for living our best life. The painted porch out in the middle, right in the public square, so that people could hear these discussions or even get involved in these discussions, started in Greece. And then there came a time many years later when they sent some Greek philosophers who were Stoics to Rome to give a talk. I forgot the reason why. And then people became enamored with Stoicism. And then Epictetus, who worked for one of the emperors, Hadrian, I believe, he was a slave, and he was taught by Rufus. He was taught Stoicism, the philosophy, and then he went on to start his own school, and he taught it. And when I say Marcus Aurelius studied the teachings of Epictetus, I say that because Epictetus never wrote anything down, but he had a student, Arian, who wrote everything down. And all the books on Epictetus and the Stoic philosophy, they were written down by a student, because Epictetus believed you live Stoicism, you don't write about it. You don't study Stoicism, you live it out in your life. So just a little correction, Jerry Seinfeld, and I hate to do that, buddy, because I love you. I love Jerry Seinfeld. I met Jerry in Hollywood over 25 years ago. My acting teacher, Judy Kerr, was actually the dialogue coach on Seinfeld, and she got me on the show doing extra work in the coffee shop. And I met Jerry, nicest man, one of my favorite comedians. But I had to correct you on this one, Jerry, because I study Meditations. And listen, I'm glad you're obsessed with Marcus Aurelius and Meditations, because the life lessons there, they are fantastic and can be life-changing. Just a little correction, Jerry, that's all. All right, buddy, you know I love you. All right, that's it for Cliff Yates. Subscribe to the channel.